And thanks for joining me today. This is Zoe from MakeItCrafty.com, and today I will be colouring Charming Santa from the new Christmas 2014 collection. I share a few techniques such as a simple embossed look for Santa's beard, adding texture to make the trimmings look soft and fluffy, and the main reason I created the video was to share some techniques to help you get a nice smooth finish when blending with red. Okay, let's get started. Okay, I'm going to start with the easier areas first, and so I'm just going to colour in his face. And I've got EOOO here. And I'm just wetting the surface of the paper so before I put my next colours down. And I'm going to come in with E11 and just add the shading. Better not forget his ears. I do that so often. Okay, now I'm just going to come in with my EO1. And just blending that towards the center. And it's going to also create a bit of shape for his nose here. Now I'm going to come in with my EOOO and just go all over that. Not all over the dark areas, but all over the white and then a little bit into the coloured sections. And then to make that a nice smooth blend, I'm going to come back with my EO1 and flick into that colour. So you're going over the top of what is already there, and then just flicking it so that you get a little bit of colour mix. And I want to go a little bit darker, I think, just beside his nose there. I'm going to come in with my E11 and just carefully add a bit of depth. I'm just going to turn that here. There, I like that better. So then just because I don't want that to be so defined, I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit just by flicking it just ever so lightly with my EO1. There you go, I think that's pretty good. Okay. Now I've got these little circles here, or ovals, for his cheeks, so I'm just going to colour them directly in with R14. I'm not doing anything fancy, I'm just going to colour it like so. Okay. Alright, next I think what I will do is work on his beard, and I've decided that I'm going to go for a cartoony look. I'm not going for anything realistic. So I'm going to use my W1 and I'm going to kind of make it look like it's a sort of, a bubble type thing. So I'm just going to start with his moustache and try and get the look that I'm going for. And so I guess what I'm really trying for is like an embossed look. If that makes sense. Do his eyebrows while I'm here. The reason I'm using a warm white, warm greys because I'm going for more of a natural type of white for his beard. And then I'm going to use the cool greys on the fluffy areas on his hat and things like that. Okay, so that was just W3 then. Now I'm just going to come along that line again with W1 and just extend it a little bit. Then I'm going to use my blender to push it again, to push that back a little bit, just to try and help that blend seamlessly into the white. Okay, now I'm going to do the same for the beard part. So I've got my W1. It's going to go all the way along the edge. Now if you wanted to get all fancy, you could do all, you could treat it like hair. But I don't know, I felt like making him look like cartoony. He's a nice simple type character. And I thought it'd be a bit more fun. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with my W3. So I'm essentially following the lines and then just extending it to a point. I'm not worried about direction of the light source or anything like that. I'm just having fun colouring. Now I'm back with my W1 and I'm just extending that, smoothing the edge. I reckon that's looking pretty cute already. Alright, so colourless blender and just smoothing that edge. So that it looks like it blends into the white. And I think I want to put a little bit of a shadow under the moustache there. So I'm going to test it with W1 first, just to see. Yeah, I think that will help. So I'm going to just do a very small line with my W3. I'm just going to put it in some little areas. I'm not going to go right around. So I'm not going to go right around that point there. I want to just take it from that sort of where the bumps join, I guess. That corner bit there, and take it out. And then instead of going right around that bump, if that makes sense. If you watch me here, I'll do it slow. I take it to that point. So I take it from there and to that point. So it's as if this part's lifted and this part is still touching his beard. Imagine it like that. We'll do that again and take it to that. So it's sort of like the shadow gets hidden because that is no longer away from it. And then here again. This helps to give it a different type of dimension rather than making it look like you just put a line around there. Okay. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. I forgot his eyebrows, so let's come in with my W3 again. I'm just going to go along that edge there. Then come in with my W1. with the with the blender and just blend that edge there so that it looks like it's blended into the white. Okay, so that's his beard done. I think what we'll do next is we'll do the white areas next. Okay, the fluffy part. So I'm going to use C3 and C1, and this time rather than following the lines I'm going to do dots, and I'll show you why I'm going to do dots. I'm going to start with my C1 first, and I'm just going to dot it, and what this helps to do is add texture and make it look like it's more of a fluff ball rather than just something that's flat. You don't want to go all the way over, and we're going to just do it for everything just with the one pen because we're not doing any blending, we're just adding texture. And this is really quite quick, which is a good thing. What is? Okay, now I'm going to come in with the C3 and I'm going to do a bit smaller dots and not all over, and think of this as more of the shaded areas. And one thing I like to do is occasionally I'll add a few just in other areas quite small to help give it some texture throughout the whole piece. Okay, and I'm going to do some here. It doesn't matter if they join together, you don't have to try and keep them all separate dots. That would actually look funny. Don't do that. And don't think about it too much, just the main thing you want to think about is where are you putting them. Not sort of or the section of the area, not how you're putting them. That makes sense, because if you think too much, you'll find that you're too careful where you place them, and then it will look like you've tried to put them there. That makes no sense, but hopefully you kind of get what I mean. Okay, coming back with C1, because now we want to sort of blot over the top of these, like so. Melt them into the paper. We want to keep that texture, but we want to sort of soften it. See how that was looking better now that it's a little bit softer? See how rough that looks? And then as soon as I go over it with this and soften it, it starts to look better. You've still got your texture there, but it doesn't look so blotchy. And it'll look better once we put that red in anyway. I'm not sure if that's his hand or not there, so I'm going to pretend it's his hand and I'm going to come back with skin colours and fix that. Alright, I think that's not too bad. Okay, just going to come in with my EO1 and just colour in this because I think that's his hand here. I'm not doing anything fancy, just want to make sure he's got some skin colour there. Alrighty, so now I think we'll do his belt. So So I've got C7. I'm just going to turn him here just to make it easier. And do the same on this side. You can go as dark as you want, but I'm just going to use C7 and C5 for this. The reason that I use at least 2 shades is so that it doesn't look flat. You want it to have a little bit of dimension. Okay, so I'm going to use C5 over the top. Okay, we may as well do his boots as well. So I'm going to just get the C7 again. And take my darkest around the bottom here like so. And then I'm going to bring it up over there. And that creates the roundness of the boot. Then I'm going to do dark part under here. And do the same on this side. Okay then. Just bring that down like so. And do the same here. Okay, now I'm going to come back with C5. Just take that a little bit further there. I'm going to colour all that there. Okay, and then I'm going to come back with my C7 and just darken this up a little bit around here. The C5 took a little bit of that darkness away. And same over here. And actually I need to put it just around the base here of his sole. And then use the C5 to fill that in up there. That just helps to separate the sole from the base of his boot, or the shoe part. Okay, and then with my C5, I'm just going to come in over the top here. I'm leaving that little white area for the shine. Do the same on this side, just enough like that. There we go. Now we need to use some gold for his buckle and the bell. So I'm going to start with YR24, and just in the corner here I'm going to add a little bit on each side, and whilst I'm here I'm going to do the bell as well. So I'm just going to use that on the inside like so, and then take it up one side like that. Actually I'm going to build a bit of an edge there, so I'll do that. Okay, And then I'm going to use Y38 and just blend that. And the same here. Okay, and then I'm going to use Y13. I'm going to come back with my Y38 and please excuse me, I'm going to turn it. Okay, and then I'm going to come back with my YR24 and just get some extra depth in here. And then I'm going to use my Y11 to get these edges nice and shiny looking. Like so. That will do okay. Alright. Oh, I've got to do the buckles on here. So it's just a matter of switching between different yellows, and you want to try and make sure that you leave a bit of white for some sort of highlight, and that's all I'm going to do in that small area. Okay, so now I am going to show you how to colour the red, and this seems to be one of those areas or one of those sort of groups of colours that people have some trouble with. So I wanted to show you a couple of different tricks. I'm going to show you how do I want to do this, because I don't want to spoil him at the same time. It really, in my opinion, it doesn't matter which reds that you use. You just want to look for, you just want to use some reds where the last digits are reasonably close together. So I've got R29, R17 and R14 as my main reds, and the reason I've chosen R29 is because it's quite a good rich colour for Christmas. Now, something that years ago when I was experimenting with colours, especially with red, I hated these sort of like I don't know, these burgundy type dark reds. What this one's R59, and the problem I found with these, let me just quickly show you. Let's say that R29 is the darkest. It's hard to, when that's your darkest colour, it's not quite deep enough, and so you tend to go to one of these others like R59 or even R89, and because they've got like a pink or purpley type colour, they're okay, and I'm not saying that that's terrible, but for me it's not quite, you sort of get away from that beautiful red because you're going into this, I don't know. Anyway, so I found, as long as you don't use too much of it, I found that using it, mixing a brown really helps. And I used to use E29, and if you see that over the top, and then you mix that with the red. I'm not using a good paper here, so that's not as good. It does work out quite well when you're doing it on proper paper. Okay, but so if you use E29, you get just a darker, rich color. It's like using grays over your colors, but because you're using a warm color with the red, it helps. And so another one that I use is, so I've got my R29. Another one that I like to use is E09, which I think is quite a nice, it's not quite as dark as the E29, so it seems to blend a lot nicer. I just like it that little bit more. So that's what I'm going to use today, and I wanted to show you that. I'm going to start with R14, and again I'm not doing anything except just doing nice blending. So we're not going to worry about where the light source is coming from or anything like that. But I'm going to just colour along the edge here and just wet this area with the R14. And I don't want to put too many layers with the red. So I'm going to come straight in with my R29 and go along the edge there. You see how rich and vibrant that red is. It's just beautiful for Christmas, in my opinion. And then I'm going to come in with my R17 and just blend that out. And these, the R17 and R14, are more of an orangey, closer to an orangey red, I would say. They're nothing like an orangey red, but they haven't got as much pigment in them. So I've just blended that out with R14, and I'm going to take that R14 along the bottom here as well. Like so. And what that does is it's called a rim light, and it makes his arm look round, circular. So that's why I tend to do that. Okay, so starting with his other arm, just going to start with R14. Just going to bring that up quite quickly. Not putting much ink down. Straight to R29. To get some depth into there. And then with my R17, going to flick that edge out. Being careful. And the reason I flick is so that I don't get a definite line, and it's easier to blend. Now I'm just coming in with my R14. And another thing here is you can see that I don't have a huge gap between the shades, so it's a lot easier to blend them together. Okay, so now we're going to do his belly, his jacket. So again, I'm going to come in with my R14, and now this I'm going to do that rim light along the edge here again. So I'm going to keep that as a definite line around the edge here, like so. And then I'm going to flick that towards my center, so I don't have a harsh line as I try to blend these colors. Now I'm only going to work on this side. I'm not going to work on this side until I've done this side. So I'm coming in with my R29. I'm going to follow that line again, and I'm going to flick that towards the center. And before that dries, come in with my R17 and flick that further. And see how I keep everything in the same direction so I can get that really smooth blend. And now I'm going to come in with my R14, and because I've got this decoration here, I'm going to turn it and flick back into my colouring so that I can be careful around the edge here, and then flick into my colouring so that it blends. Just like so. And then I'm just going to fill in this rim light with the R14 as well. And so that helps to separate it from the arm and gives it that round appearance. Alright, let's do the same on this side. I'm going to turn it around so it's easier. And do the same with the R29. And then quickly come in with my R17. And then come in with my R14. And then again, colour in this rim light, like so. Now it's got to do under his jacket here. So I'm going to come in with R14 and do this whole area here. And then come in with a little bit of R29 in the corner just under here. And then go straight back to R14. There's no point in bringing R17 in there. Just like that. Then I'm going to do the same on this side. R14 first. R29. And then R14 again. Just on that edge like that. Okay, so now we'll do his pants. So again, R14, and I'm just going to go around his whole area like so. And do the same on this side. And under here, okay, and then I've got my R29, just going to okay, and then R17. Like so, and then back with R14 just to fill in the rims. Now here is where I want to add the E09. So I want to make sure that this is a little bit darker than his jacket. So I'm just going to add a touch of E09 under here, like so. And then use my E17, so I don't want to bring any more E29 in, R29. Just make sure those edges are smooth, like so. See how it's just that little bit darker than his jacket, so it helps to make it look like his pants are underneath the jacket. Okay, so now we've got left is his hat. Okay, so this is going to have to be really nice and smooth. So I'm going to make this look round here first, and then bring that up, and we'll give him a shine in the middle up here too. So we might start over here and shine this area up, because that's going to be easier. So we'll actually start with the R29, because I don't want to put too much ink in this area. So I'm going to start with E29 here, and just touching it with the tip of my nib to bring that up to an area where we can actually start blending. So I'm going to bring it to there, and then I'm going to bring in my R17 whilst it's still wet, just to blend that edge out. That looks alright. And now I've got my R14, so I'm going to bring that up the top here. Now I'm going to come back with my R17 and just make that a little bit darker here. And we'll just leave that for the moment. I've got that nice and light. So I'm going to come over this side, and I'm going to start with my R14, because I want to work out how I want this to work. So I think what I want to do is bring it sort of like that, and bring this edge around and up to there. Then if that join in the middle, something like that. Okay, so I've got R29. I'm just going to kind of make a divot in here. Then R17, take that to the center there. Okay, then with R14, just going to quickly blend that. You see how easy that is to blend, because I was keeping all of my strokes in the same direction. to be a little bit darker in here, so I'm going to come in with my E09. I want to accentuate that a little bit more. Then I'm going to come in with my R29. Like so. And I think I need to put a little bit of R29 on the edge here. That's a bit better. Okay, now back with the R17. And now with the R14. Just going to bring these two together now. And that's pretty good. Hopefully I didn't go off screen there. Okay, now the only other thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to make his mouth, give it a little bit of a shadow. So I'm just going to use actually I can't use W1. I'm going to use C1. The reason I can't use W1 is because it will not look different from the moustache. So I'm going to use C1 and just add some shading across there, just like that. Actually, I think I'm going to bring it in more like that. It needs to go a little bit darker, so I'm just going to go with C3 and add a bit more shading, and then blend that with my C1. Alright, that looks alright. Well, that's the end of colouring Charming Santa. I think he looks quite cute, and I especially love the simple appearance of his beard. Just so you know, I printed him around 3.5 inches tall, which I think is a great size to colour and works well for a regular size card. You'll notice on my finished card, the background is coloured, which I actually did using watercolour paint by applying it very quickly so as not to destroy the smooth paper. Then I dried it using my heat tool just to make sure that paper wasn't going to stay wet for too long. I hope you enjoyed the video and have fun colouring up the new Make a Crafty Christmas stamps. Until next time, take care and happy colouring.